threat of war looms.
Hightowers land their first blow.
What's up guys, welcome to The Far Side. This is Migs and this is my breakdown of the preview trailer of House of the Dragon episode 8. Last episode saw both sides make a move. Aemond gains Vhagar as the largest dragon in the realm, and Rhaenyra married Daemon, strengthening her claim to the throne. I'll discuss key moments in the trailer and a little lore for context, so careful for spoilers, especially if you haven't watched episode 6. You have been warned. If you're new to the channel, we discuss everything about families, successions, and everything in between. Please consider a like if you haven't already. We appreciate your support. Let's get into this. Let's go. We start the episode a couple of years after the last episode. Since Daemon and Rhaenyra's marriage, they would have had their firstborn child. In the book Fire and Blood, they name their child Aegon II, which I'm sure is in opposition to the name given to Aegon II, son of the king and Queen Alicent. This is important so we can expect them to center on the circumstances around the birth. We can't really tell if she's pregnant or if there's a baby in the episode, but what I think can happen is they'll push off the birth for season 2 so they can make a thing of it. I would actually prefer that. Timeline issues notwithstanding, probably within the Dance of the Dragons, we'll see the birth of Daemon and Rhaenyra's son. Amidst the tragedy and the drama, a glimmer of hope. The children have been replaced by their older counterparts. This is the last major time jump of the series, and every character is portrayed by their permanent actors. The major time jumps have been a minor issue for me, arresting the narrative momentum as we are forced to know these characters once again along with their nuances. But for the most part, I expect it won't be as jarring as the last one, primarily because the children were too young. Now they're the right age, make of that what you will, but the actors look spot on. Well, except Aegon. I can't quite connect the actors visually for now. The character should be approaching 20, if not early 20s. Aemond is now way taller, and you have to remember he's the younger of the two. The Velaryons are a little older too, in their teens. We should see a young Joffrey here, but for the most part, these actors look the part. The title of episode 8 is The Lord of the Tides, named after the head of House Velaryon. We learned from the trailer that Corlys Velaryon has suffered a grave injury fighting in the Stepstones, and seems his succession to the Driftwood throne is called into question. Both of his children are dead or gone. In the case of Sir Laenor, he named Lucaerys Targaryen, son of Princess Rhaenyra, and legally son of Laenor, as his heir. But Vaemond, Corlys' brother, seems to believe that they're not legitimate in that they are sons of Harwin Strong. This was also discussed in the last episode between Princess Rhaenys and her husband. She has to transfer succession to one of his trueborn grandchildren through Laena. We see Vaemond directly question the succession here, speaking to Rhaenys, and we see another scene of Vaemond along with an armed retinue walk with Hightower soldiers. Apparently, we'll see Vaemond make a move, possibly ally himself with the Greens. First part of the trailer, we see a ship sailing for King's Landing. Most probably, we're seeing Rhaenyra and Daemon's return for a feast hosted by the king.
Those vipers rule in my father's name.
To King's Landing then.
In the books, we get an event to celebrate the king's health hosted in King's Landing. Viserys wanted this event as a way for both factions, the Greens and the Blacks, to make amends. Initially, everything goes smoothly and everyone toasts good health to each other. But once the king retires, Aemond the One-Eye declares a toast talking about his nephews. Playing features and fighting breaks out. We see scenes in the preview that have the same beats, like Jace striking Aemond here, Luke and Aegon duking it out in the background as well. That's going to be an intense scene. In the years since the last episode, King Viserys' condition has only gotten worse. He's too weak to rule. Fuck you! And we kind of see him here with a mask. Maybe his skin's gotten worse since the last episode.
As hand, I speak with the king's voice on this.
As expected, the hand of the king, in this case Otto Hightower, takes on the ruling part of the job, and that's the part we hear him say he's speaking in the name of the king on matters of the kingdom. But with the Dance of the Dragon just around the corner, this means the crown is partial to the Greens and sets a problem for Princess Rhaenyra and the Blacks. Remember, a couple of episodes back, she returned to Dragonstone and left the Greens to their machinations, but now it's kind of become a problem. She hasn't been around that much, and her father, the king's failing health, gives the Hightowers opportunity to take power for themselves. Now Otto is on top. He can pretty much do anything he wants to do. We get a picture of the Blacks here, Aegon, Aemond, and Helena. Last episode, Aegon's disinterested in the game. He just wants to be a teenager. Here he looks more devious, like we're looking at a version of Joffrey Baratheon or something. And based on the little footage we have, it seems he also shares a dislike of his nephews, much like Aemond. Speaking of the One-Eye, as a kid, he was kind of meek and silent. Here, since claiming Vhagar, something's changed. Inside his like he opened a door for cruelty, and after a couple of years he would have been more and more cruel. Helaena probably would have been spewing more prophecies from her dragon dreams. They haven't really explored this aspect of her in the show, but of her scenes we already heard her prophecies about Aemond losing an eye, and even the event called Dance of the Dragons. She refers to the blacks and the greens, which is a reference to the colors of the dresses worn by the queen and the princess. It also refers to the actual dragons fighting in the conflict. Both sides will have their own dragons, and we should see a lot of dragons fighting in the coming seasons. I'm not sure if they'll do one or two in the first season, but there's one that might be able to pull off by the finale. Now we're back in the training yard, and we see Sir Criston Cole not aging a day. Sir Criston Cole holding a morning star here and shatters Aemon's shield.
The crown cannot stand strong if the House of the Dragon remains divided.
We hear Viserys' voice pleading about the internal strife consuming his house, warning that it will be their downfall. You can hear the coarseness in his voice because his leprosy has gotten so bad, and I'm thinking this might be the last episode for King Viserys. Then we see Daemon maybe on Dragonstone in a dragon lair getting a dragon egg. Could not have said more of that word already. He could be getting one for his child. Remember, as babies, Targaryens get an egg in the crib so they can bond right away, or maybe he will use it as currency to buy off Mysaria. We do see them meet up in secret in a dark place there. He might be making a move, not sure what it is for now, but she's a big underground character, much like Varys, master of whispers and whatnot. By the end of the trailer, Otto talks about the threat of a war looming in a small council meeting in reference to the war going on in the Stepstones. Corlys has been wounded and no one is continuing the fight against the Triarchy. Or also, he might have meant to convey the Dance of the Dragons heating up. There's also an issue on Driftmark with Daemon, so he could actually be referring to 3 different things. That's it for me, guys. Let me know what you guys think will happen in the episode. Everybody check out my episode 7 breakdown here. Please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate your support. It will really help the channel grow. Keep rocking out there, and see you on the next one.